Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigval Grim here and welcome to another video. We got a post from Injustice2Mobile on Twitter. We have discovered an unintended bug with Raven in Soul Raids. This bug causes an unbalanced amount of damage when teamed up with certain heroes. It will be fixed in the next patch along with artifact bugs targeted to release next week. We are sorry for the inconvenience. So they are fixing the Raven bug or nerfing Raven. So yeah, we're going to talk about this one. We're going to explain what's most likely going to happen. And we're going to discuss if this is an okay thing to do or not, considering a lot of people bought her with drill money. So yeah, let's go. We're going to watch as a background some gameplay of my own with Raven. Over here, just don't mind it. It's just something you can enjoy while I talk. So first of all, in order to understand the Raven nerf, we need to understand how the thing that was very powerful about Raven worked. So, you'd have a damage cap on some characters. A damage cap is something that does not allow damage to bypass a certain amount. King's Special Tree is something that was usually hit by that. Also, Silver Banshee's Special Tree in normal raids against Dr. Fate, not being able to deal more than 3 million damage. You're all familiar with the damage cap at this point. Now, King's Special Tree is also going to deal a percentage amount of health damage out of the current amount of health. That means that the lower the health the boss, the less damage your King's Special Tree is going to deal. Now, the Raven passive, for some reason, they decided it was a good idea to buff the King Special Tree percentage damage. So that meant that instead of doing, let's say, 10% of the enemy's current health damage, you deal 80% of the enemy's current health damage with a special tree. That would mean almost one-shotting them, like 80% of that man's current health. That's a pretty damn decent value. And yeah, that in itself is a little bit broken, but still, I didn't mind it myself at all. Now, there's the other thing. Raven stacks with King's Special Tree are able to break the damage cap of some characters, which means they are able to bypass that certain maximum amount of damage that you are allowed to do. And let me tell you how that works. So you got a damage cap that's going to calculate how much damage an ability or a basic attack is going to be able to deal against the enemy. And then you got Raven passive that's going to increase the damage that's dealt to the opponent. And you'd think that it would increase the damage dealt to the opponent and then the damage cap would come into play. But no. So the damage cap will come into play if you're going to hit the damage cap without Raven's passive being counted for. So for example, if your King's Special Tree is going to deal more than, let's say, 3 million damage in league rates, then that's going to be capped. No matter how many stacks from Raven you got, no matter how much damage you deal, normally that would be capped. But if the boss is low enough health, so that's the percentage damage that the special tree deals without the Raven buffs is actually going to be lower than the damage cap. And if the base special tree, without keeping in mind the stacks of Raven, would be able to not be reduced by the damage cap, then even though the damage with Raven passive kept in mind is going to be like 10 times higher and it's going to be a crazy amount, that's not going to get capped because for some reason the cap is going to get counted before the is going to get capped before the Raven passive is added, and then the damage gets inflicted with the Raven passive added. But again, if it gets capped, if it gets over the limit before the Raven passive is applied, then it will still be capped, no matter Raven passive. But yeah, if it's lower than the cap, then it's going to receive the Raven passive and can go far above it. And we've seen that mostly with Last of Joker in DPI. So that's how it works. Now, there's a few things about this. First of all, there's of course the thing of releasing a flawed character. Like, bruh, regardless if this is a bug, this is a nerf, this is whatever, it doesn't matter. This is something that you clearly did not want in the game. And it's something that you should have tested before releasing this damn character. And then release the character without this being present so that this did not play a role into people buying it. Like, regardless of what conclusions I'm going to come during the rest of this video and where this discussion is going to take us, I want to make it clear that the people who bought Raven, including myself, though I'm not that mad about it, but at the same time I'm a YouTuber, I most likely got my money back for investing into her. But yeah, let me get this straight. Every person who bought Raven before the bug fixes is entitled to their money back, in my opinion, because you shouldn't have been delivered a bug character. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that there are other bugs with Raven. For example, the fact that when she tags, she can get interrupted by basic attacks. We got that happening with Martian Manhunter, and it's definitely an annoying thing, and while not being a great deal. Also, we got the bug on the special tree. It's supposed to block an ability, but if it's multiple instances of damage ability, it's going to block only the first one. Those are two bugs with Raven, and to be honest, they don't count for that much. But if they only fix the damage cap issues or whatever, but they don't give a crap about the float tagging or the special tree, that's gonna be a very, 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 very scummy move on top of all that. And yet again, anybody who bought Raven, in my opinion, is entitled to their money back after this update. Now, getting into how they could go about this. First of all, they could go that they remove the bug that allows her to pass the damage cap, and they make it so that the damage cap on the enemy is going to be calculated after applying the damage buffs, so that even though you're going to be boosted to hell by the Raven special one, not special one necessarily, the Raven passive, if you're going to be able to bypass that certain cap, you're going to be stopped. That's one way they could go about it. And yet again, this if she still deals a huge amount of damage combined with King on characters, the enemy characters that don't have a damage cap, but simply get stopped as it normally would happen against characters that have a damage cap, wouldn't mind it that much myself. Yet again, if this happens, everybody who bought Raven so far, in my opinion, should be entitled to their money back. This is something that should have been in the game introduced since she was released, and it's totally their fault that it wasn't. So yeah. At the same time, I understand why they would do this change so she doesn't break the damage cap anymore, but at the same time, yet again, everybody who bought her is entitled to their money back. Now, they could do another thing. And look, that thing with not breaking the damage cap anymore won't be such a great deal. Like, for example, last of Joker, we saw him dealing 8 million damage in normal rates per basic attack, and the damage cap is 3 million, so let's say in normal rates that damage cap actually gets applied, and last of Joker deals 3 million per instance of damage with a basic attack instead of 8 million. That's still going to be on one shot by far, and in most scenarios it won't affect you that much. It just won't break the game in some scenarios. But yet again, this is something that they should have tested before introducing a character in the game, and before first of all introducing them as a pay to get character, because at first for like 2 days Raven was only in the special offer store. Only in the special offer store, my boy. They straight up put her for sale. This shit should have been tested and fixed before her Raven release. But yet again, I wouldn't personally mind it that much if this gets fixed. But yet again, if you bought her, you're entitled to any opinion on this, and you should have your money back. Now, getting into the other thing that they can do, they could actually nerf her interaction with other characters and nerf the amount of damage that is done by other characters when buffed by her. And this is actually the worst thing they can do. Like, with the first thing with fixing the damage cap, I'm like, my dudes at NetherRealms should fire the people beta testing the characters. You should do a better job. You sucked at this. But in a way, I could live with this, even though the people who got her deserve refunds. Like, it's terrible. It's still terrible, but you can eventually find a reasoning or an excuse or whatever. But if they straight up nerf her capacity to buff other characters, that is not excusable. That's in no way, shape, or form excusable. No matter how I try it or anybody tries it, there's no way you can excuse if they straight up nerf her. If they don't only fix the bypassing the damage cap, but straight up nerf her damage, but on top of that, not even fix her tagging issues or her shield issues. That would be the absolute worst thing they can do, and that wouldn't have an excuse. So yeah, those are the Raven possibilities in terms of nerfs or bugs fixes. Yet again, ideally, you should have been released as a perfectly balanced character from the start without bugs like this. Now, considering that they're going to try and fix her anyway, ideally they are just gonna fix the damage cap being bypassed, which yet again sucks for the people who bought her, thinking she'll stay like that, but the worst thing that they can do is literally nerf the whole character and not even fix the bugs other than the damage dealing ones. But yeah, all that being said, let me know down in the comments what you think about this, if you enjoyed this video. And what you think about the Raven. Did you get Raven so far? And yeah, all that stuff. What are our thoughts on all this situation? And all that being said, I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. Goodbye.